Hey, what's up? It's another episode of What You Strappin. These aren't watch reviews per se. They're just mostly wristwatch check with a strap pairing, just to show uh, the two together, just to maybe give you guys some ideas of what a particular watch might look like on a particular strap if you haven't tried it, or something very similar if you don't have the exact same watch. But yeah, I would also consider these either an extended review if I've done a review of the watch, or more appropriately, these are probably should be just considered supplemental, ongoing user review and experiences. And so this is the MoonSwatch Omega by Swatch, Speedmaster. MoonSwatch. This is the 1965 model. This is the latest release. Came out on March 1st, 1965. Actually, wait a minute. Is it March 1st? Crap. I believe it was March 1st. Yeah, it was. 1965. And yeah, it's when I believe, I'm trying to remember. It's either when they were first tested, but no, I think maybe they were actually went into trial, being tested along with some other watch brands and models back then, and it became official, I think, in when they got the I guess the contract to become NASA's official watch for the space missions. And yeah, it's a cool tribute. There's a lot of things going on here. It's a mix of well, the base model is the mission to the moon model with this type of gray bioceramic case. But this is a new dial configuration. It's very much in line with one of the most modern Speedies of that's out right now, the Speedmaster Professional, which is that white dial one. It's very popular. I think in a number of places there's still a waiting list. It's been about a year or so since it's been out. It's a good looking watch, and definitely one that's on my radar, along with the first Omega in space. It's kind of a draw between the two. But I have to say, having gotten this, it's not a true replacement or substitute for a white dial Speedmaster Professional, but it does scratch that itch a lot, and I'd be happy to have this for as long as it keeps working, until I save up for one. And to be honest, and I've mentioned this before, as much as I would like to have one, the if I had roughly $8,000, right? It's currently around $8,100, I believe. Add tax, you're basically paying probably close to 9,000 or so, right? So if I had that kind of money, I definitely have a number of other watches in the queue in line before I pull the trigger on such a watch. And so it'll be a while. So until then, this definitely hits a sweet spot for giving me most of that look and feel. Not necessarily physically, because this isn't metal and it's a heck of a lot lighter, of course, but I'm saying aesthetically, the look and feel is definitely strongly there, and I'm happy with it. It's been pretty damn accurate so far, as it should be, and I do like the cool little trick with the chronograph sub dials. If you don't know about it, you should read up on it. It's pretty neat. Is there any particular added usage to it? Not really. Probably a slightly less usage because of the way it kind of there's that weird 5 minute off yet resyncing when when you go into the next hour of the chronograph timing. It'll do it at 65 minutes, but yet at that same moment it'll instantly recalibrate or resync and actually be appropriately 5 minutes into the timing. if you know what I mean. Because if it turns over at 1 hour, in 60 minutes, it doesn't turn over. But if it turns over at 65, because this is a 65-minute uh, chronograph counter on the by the 2 o'clock, it's obviously going to be about 5 minutes behind what it should be have been displaying, right? But it does, both hands do a quick revolution. It's a little visual party treat, and then this hand will eventually advance that first, then the next hour, and then this minute hand will end up 5 minutes behind, which it should be, or I guess not 5 minutes behind. It'll be 5 minutes ahead, which is because it was 5 minutes behind, which means it's actually synced up. It sounds confusing. It makes more sense when you actually see it in play. But anyways, talking to go into the strap now. Trying to move along here. This is one of the, I'm not exactly sure when these came out. I think these are relatively recent. These new MoonSwatch these are actually officially from Swatch. These are rubber, lunar straps, I guess, MoonSwatch straps, which is really nice. They actually are pretty nice quality rubber from what I can tell, and other people have mentioned this as well. I can't show it to you right now, and you can see some other reviews and pictures online, I'm sure, but the inside has like a cool rubber lining that's in gray. Well, I think it might vary depending on the model, but they have like a moon surface, like textured on the inside, which is pretty neat, just to play on the moon swatch, the moon, watch idea a bit more. And they come in lots of colors. They have pretty much all the colors that you can think of to match the most current, at least the original, solar system, the MoonSwatch releases, such as the sun, Mercury, which is actually would have like a dark gray hardware. This is the moon's mission to the moon version. So this is has that light gray and black kind of scheme to match that. They actually have one recently that's, I think, more all black, and one that's all white with black accent and reverse with the black one. Basically like the ones with the Snoopy moon phase versions. If you've seen that, the all white with the black accent and all black with the white accent, I believe they have those to match. And I did get the white one because it would match this dial really nicely, with being all white with the black text and stitching and stuff. The keeper is also white too, but that's fine. It can, that's it would have been cool if it had been gray, but they don't do that unless they plan to make one specifically for this. Then maybe they might do that. But this mission to the moon and the Snoopy, the white, basically that's that version of the strap is supposed to match that. I think those are the two closest ones that match this watch. I'm trying to think. Maybe the Mercury one would do well too, but any of the other ones might be a little too off color too. There's nothing that really ties into this, unless you just, even though this is a very neutral palette, you can just put on any accent color essentially. But I think I try to get it a little bit more matchy. But yeah, so this is the first one I'm trying on. Actually, I got this a couple weeks ago, but I only had this back in rotation recently and decided to give it a try and see what people are talking about. And I do believe that these are quite an improvement over the original ones that come with the MoonSwatches, right? Those are okay. I don't think they're nearly as crappy in terms of quality and feeling as some might have said. For me, they're perfectly comfortable. They're actually pretty comfortable, the original straps. Quality wise, I guess they do feel maybe a little bit on the cheap side, but the overall watch is plastic anyways. But they seem to hold up okay. I haven't had an issue. But the main thing was, and they do tie in differently, like this part of the hardware is actually part of this side, but this is kind of the reverse. So it would come down here, and then you'd have the hardware right about where I'm trying to centering this camera, and then this thing would wrap around on this side, and then you pull the loose end to this back end. So what you can imagine, this was on the other side. The problem really visually for me, and I think a lot of people, was the way that the Velcro, there's a lot of parts that didn't stick together because you only have so many hook and loop, and the thickness of it, or maybe the the lack of pliability to keep it flat made this part that where it looped over kind of bulge out quite awkwardly. And you see it in my other videos. It's just the way it is. You'll see it from this side. It'll just kind of, just to be fine, just drop down, and all of a sudden when that part that curves, wraps around and goes back around, right there, right around the hardware, which will be on this side, it just kind of bulges out kind of awkwardly, kind of at the side and bottom of this part of the strap. And visually, that's the main thing I think that doesn't look that great. Unfortunately, there's nothing to do about it because there's just a fixed size for that Velcro, and the ratio to hook and loop is only so much, unless you have the perfect size wrist that perfectly matches the size amount of it, and then you can actually stick down maybe the strap down a little bit tighter and wholly, and that might have kept it a little less bulging, if you know what I mean. Hang on a second. I just wanted to adjust my sleeve because it was coming down to cover the watch a bit. So yeah, that was the main thing, and it just it was soft, but it had some bit of rigidity to it, so that it didn't wrap around quite as well as it could have, would have liked to have. And so they made this rubber version, which is pretty cool. I think it's a bit more durable. It's definitely more water resistant, although can't imagine that the mostly, I think, nylon build of the original strap should be plenty water resistant too, but I never actually got really wet yet, so I'm not sure. And I'm reluctant to get that particular strap wet, because at least too wet, because I can imagine if it's not what I think it is, it could somehow like warp or wrinkle up oddly if it gets too wet. But this should not have a problem because it's basically fully rubber, and it's a pretty soft and supple one, and it's nice. It feels really good, and it's actually got some stretch to it. And what's good about it is that this end, just right around a few millimeters or centimeters of material just around where the hardware end would be, is actually elastic. There's no hook and loop in the end. They just made a little section of this elastic, so it has a little bit of stretchability, which makes it kind of hold and conform nicely, like really tight around here, which is much better looking. And what's also good about it is that they come in 3 different sizes. So you just figure out what is your closest wrist size, and you buy the size appropriately for that. And then that's why this works so well, because it's custom. It's better fitted to your particular wrist size. It's not one general hook and loop system like what comes originally with the straps, or with the MoonSwatches. And so then somebody or nobody will nobody will ever get a really good perfect fit. So this is, I believe, the medium size. There's either 3 or 4 sizes: small, medium, large, perhaps an extra large, I forget, sorry. And then there should be a chart that tells you can check to see which size your wrist would fall under, and which is the appropriate size strap to get. And so this length right here is custom made for that wrist size, more or less, within a small range. And so you get pretty much the best fit possible, and which is the way it should be for the hook and loop system, because not everything obviously will fit as it's shown to fit all wrist sizes. So you wouldn't be able to get a fairly custom fit like this. And I believe, off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure Habit has a MoonSwatch strap, like a Luna strap they call it, and it's a Velcro system, and they do come in. They have like end pieces. I think it's pretty much designed like the original Moon strap, where this hardware, I guess, is actually on this side of it, and this part loops back like the original one. But they come in different sizes on this side here, so you can actually get, like, I believe that's how it works. And then you can get like a different length, so then it can better custom fit your wrist and not have like a weird bulge and stuff like that. And but I was going to go with those, and they have like NASA printed on it. It's pretty cool, and I like straps and their quality. But the only thing is, I like to wash my watches. I'm gonna wear them, especially to work. So, and I thought, okay, Velcro and stuff, it should be fine. But then there are leather pieces on that on that strap, and that probably won't do well with in terms of washing it or exposing to much water. So I kind of cancel that idea a bit. This is fully rubber, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, that's the only reason why I did not go with the one from Strap Habit. For those who don't care or don't need to wash or clean their watches that meticulously, then it should be fine. And I suppose I could still get it. I just would wear it off duty, as I would say, not at work, just so that I don't have to worry about it getting dirty or getting contaminants or particulates in, because this is the environment that I work in. I like to keep my watches clean, and that's why I wash what I can. So I never wear leather straps pretty much at work. Anything synthetic, metal, right, nylon, stuff like that, anything else that's basically washable, I will wear. But leather, nope, unfortunately I cannot do that at work. And so that's going to be that. But we'll see if I feel like really bored. But so far I like the selection of straps I got for this watch. I think most of the stuff that would be matching for this would be something, again, I mentioned in another video, something synthetic. So generally I don't think leather and plastic work together that well. It depends. I don't know. I've seen some people put like a brown leather strap on this, which if this was a stainless steel case, that would be perfectly fine, look really good. But because of this particular gray plastic, basically, it doesn't work for me. I don't think. I don't really like that look. But I believe if I were to do one in leather, something real basic, again, that matches the tone, either in a gray, black, or white, should work fine. Or something really matte, something relatively smooth. I don't think a heavily textured strap would really vibe with this particular style of watch that the MoonSwatches are. That's my opinion, but we'll see. I'm still in the thinking about what's the next strap to get, and to pair with this, just to show off and enjoy. And yeah, and that's about it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and enjoy your watches. Definitely enjoying this one a lot more than I thought I originally would. I thought it'd be okay. I felt like there's a strong chance that I might get quickly bored of it, and like think about flipping it and selling it, which wouldn't be too hard. I mean, there's definitely a market and profit, for these, and apparently I think some of these are still pretty difficult to get at this time. It just came out not that long ago, just beginning of March, and this is March 23rd, so about 3 weeks in almost, right, somewhere around there. Yeah, and it just takes a moment, I think, some time for them to restock, and they'll be available because they're not limited edition, which is great. And yeah, I think it was real quickly. I'm glad that this was not as hyped up. I mean, there is still some hype around it, but compared to previously, it's definitely much more lower, at least in my opinion. There wasn't a huge queue, at least where I was at, and to get one. And I think a lot of people are again MoonSwatch fatigue, and they easily dismiss this one. Oh, it's just another variant. How boring! It's another plastic copy of the Speedmaster, right? But if you really look into this particular one, the details and the functionality, and some of the little differences they made to it with the applied vintage logo, and it had it on that strap, which this is the newer logo. It would have been cool if they still had the vintage one, but they can't. I don't think they will do a custom print for this, unless they decide to make a 1965 version with the vintage logo on here, which would be cool, because they do have the vintage logo right here on the crown. It's up a little bit upside down, but you can see that's the vintage logo, like on the dial, and what would be on the original strap would be right around here. Yeah, but yeah, I think there's a lot of things about this one that make it a little bit cooler and special, but then I'm glad that also I don't feel I'm buying into the hype, and that's why I was turned off, and I kind of dismissed the watch. I didn't hate it, but I just kind of, well, whatever. The MoonSwatches in general, I just kind of lost interest or was just indifferent about it. It's like if I get one, if I have opportunity to maybe swing by a Swatch retail store, which is really hard, maybe I'll get one. If not, no big deal. But this one I definitely made an effort for because I saw in it a number of design elements and things that they put into this one that make it, worth trying to get a hold of one. I was glad I was basically the first person in the store, in the line, the very short line, but still, nonetheless, to get one, and mission accomplished. Anyways, again, thanks for watching, and enjoy your watches. Later.